Welcome guys, welcome to this video. In this video we are going to see how you can check on the time when your script is executing, how much memory it is taking. So I have a script here where I'm reading some records from CSV and then getting some records from database and then processing those records together and creating another CSV. So here there are 6 stages, so every stage when it crosses it is checking like how much memory PHP is using. So you can see that till 6 stages using this much KB of memory, and the total time taken by the process 51 seconds. So you will be able to see and you will be able to put something like this in your application after watching this video. So let's get started. Alright guys, so here is the mainly my code is. So basically currently I'm not checking any timings or any memory usage. I just have a code here. I'm going to explain to you how this code is working, and after that we are going to start putting here the memory check as well as the timing of the process. So I have here functions.php included on top and the index.php file I'm working on, and this, when I go to localhost 90, it goes to this file. So here simply I have this file called where I have few functions defined, and I'm going to explain you one by one what functions are doing. There are not so many functions, so it's not going to take much time. And ultimately I'm extracting a CSV file, which is this employees CSV, which has the data of employees. It has a lot of data, over 100,000 records. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting this from salaries, and then I'm getting some data from our database we have here in employees table. Then I'm combining this data and generating a new CSV file, and that's the one we have it here. So currently it's white screen because it generated the file, but it didn't check any execution time or memory usage. So let's see what is going on currently. So if I go to the index.php, and there, the first thing I'm doing is I'm setting a connection to database. Before that, after including the functions.php, I'm just enabling the adders. And here I'm setting memory limit to -1 so that it's unlimited, so we won't get any memory based error. Now then we are setting a database connection. So I have a local host where I'm connecting with this info, and here I'm reading a file. So this is just getting the file data from CSV, and I'm passing the file path which is in the current directory. So you can see here the file is here, salaries.csv, the one I'm passing there. So if we go to this function, it's in functions.php. Alright, I copied it completely. I just need the function name. Alright, so we go to the function, it's here. So what we are doing, we're passing a path here, and path is going to the file, and it is getting a read and going into this variable. Then we are looping through that variable and reading the CSV and returning a variable basically which is an array of data. So that is going straight into CSV data here. Now then I'm reformatting the data according to, so that we can use it further. So this reformatting CSV data is getting this variable that we just received the data from. So we can check this function as well. I go to functions.php and look for this. So here you can see simply what I'm doing is basically I have empty array fetched from CSV data. Then I'm looping through the data of the CSV, and the first time in a CSV file you get headers. So if I go to the file itself, you will see that first time the first line is the headers: ID, employee name, job title, base pay, and rest of all is data. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying, okay, if it is the first index, just continue, just skip that, because we don't want headers. And if it is not first index, we are checking if the salary is less than 50,000, and then make it 50,000. Otherwise, whatever is the salary set, we are fetching that. Now we are putting everything into this variable, name and salary, and then putting it all into this fetch data, and it is returning. So if I go to index.php, we are returning our reformatted data in here, right? So now we have data coming here. So once we have data here, what we are doing, we are now getting the data from, this is from the CSV, we got the data, right? Now we need to get the data from database. So here we are getting some data from database. So if I go to this function is here, basically connected to the employees table. And then we have the male earning, female earning, and that kind of stuff. So we are just adding for male earning, adding for female earning, setting 2 variables here. And also I'm getting all the data like ID, name, age, email, gender, salary for each employee, and then putting it into data and inside data key. And then I'm returning that data. All right, so here we are getting that data. So it is basically the employees data. So it's a bit more data as compared to the data we got in CSV. We have more columns here, but the more data is coming from CSV. So if I see here that there is the employee name and the total salary, it's total pay that we are fetching out of this function file. So here, once we have data from database as well as from CSV, now what we are doing here, we are merging this array. You can see here, and this merge is passed to export to CSV. So this function is creating a brand new CSV. So if I go here, you can see it is getting the data, then it is setting the header. So this is the header, this is the data we are getting and creating new CSV with. We are passing this data, so you need to append each value. So here you can see that we are appending with comma, and if there is no value, we are appending a null. So it is just appending all the values required and passing into $data new. Now once you have that, what we are doing here, we are generating the file. So here it is looping through on each record, data new, and then creating the CSV for us. And that's how you get this CSV where you see all the data. So this is all working fine. So to find out how the timings and how the processing speeds and everything is working, what we need to do, we need to put a function. So what I'm going to do in functions.php, I'm going to create a function. So what I do, I put the function on top. Okay, so I'm going to say here function, and this is going to be get execution time. Okay, so this is going to get us the execution time for our script, and I say here return, and I just want to get the micro time. All right, this micro time, and I'm going to pass here true. So we will return the micro time here. And what we can do here is when we start our code on top here, we can say here, let's say start execution time is equal to get execution time. All right. Now we are including the functions.php on top, so it has access to that function. So that's not an issue. It is going to get it. And that micro time is going to get the current time and we're going to return and going to pass here. All right. Now what do we want to do? We want to do same thing at the end of our script as well. So I go to the bottom, and here I say $end execution time. All right. And here I'm going to call that function again, get execution time. So this is going to get, because it is going to be fired at the end after processing everything, so it will have the end time. All right, so we will be able to see it. Now the thing is that we also want to see how long it took, so we want to display it using something. So here what I do is simply say here, I put a comment here. First of all, I say here this is get script start and end time, and here I create another function, and I say here get script execution time. Okay, so whole process time, whatever you want to call it. So I say here function, and I'm gonna call it here get process time. All right, and this process time basically going to take two parameters, start time and end time, right? So that we can calculate based on that. So I say here start execution time, and then I say end execution time, two parameters, and whatever time we get, we want to get the difference of it. So I can say here differ, and that's going to be dollar. I'm going to copy and paste this. So I'm going to copy this, paste here, and minus start time. So this is going to give us the difference of time, but we won't be able to see it the way we want because it's just going to be the micro time. We need to convert it. So what I do, I say here return, I say time taken to process code, and then here what we do, we simply pass the date function from PHP, and here we say the date parameters. So the format parameters basically, so when you want a different format you can use this. You can check more about the PHP date function, the PHP documentations. So now it is going to give us time, basically how many seconds or minutes it took to make it work. Alright, so we have a function now, so we can call this function. So what are we going to do? We want to call this function at the bottom. So I go here, actually I copy the function name, and here I'm gonna paste it. Now if you remember, we have this end time and start time, so we need to pass these here, end time here and start time here. So I copy this, go here, paste here. Alright, so we are expecting the same way, I believe. So here start time, end time, and we are passing the same way, start time, end time, right? So this is going to return something, so we need to echo here, so whatever is the outcome. And we can also see the what I do is simply say here, I think this is it. We should be able to see it now. Alright, so let's see. So I have a file here. I'm gonna refresh the page, and that's going to process a new file for me. So let's do that. I refresh the page here, go back here. It just created another file here. Now let's see. Once this process completes, it's gonna give me the details about the. Alright guys, so we just got this output here. So we took 48 seconds to generate the CSV file that we created here, and this executed from here. So the same way you can put in your script the execution time, just have a start time before your script and have an end time, and then you can have the difference. Now I want to see that how much memory we are using. So for that we need to also work through and create a function in our functions.php. Alright guys, now another function we need to create is to get the memory usage. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a function here, simply a function, and I call it memory usage, and we want it KB, so how many KBs are being used. So, and I will pass here $stage, and I will set it to null. Okay, so we are doing few steps here one by one. So first time we are reading the CSV, then we are reformatting data, then we are getting data from database. So these are stages. So each stage when completes, I want to see like how much memory we are using. So here in the function itself, I'm going to create two variables. It's going to be memory underscore usage, and this is going to take a PHP function. It's going to be memory and memory get usage. This is the PHP function that gets us the memory usage by PHP during the execution of script. There is another function that is memory, and this one is going to be usage and peak. Alright, so it's going to be memory get peak usage. This is also a PHP function. This gets us the maximum usage by PHP during the script is executing the maximum memory used by PHP. So we have these values, and I want to convert these values into KB. So what I do is simply say here return, and I'm gonna say here first I'm gonna put p tag so it goes to new line, and then I say memory usage stage. Now we want to show the stage, which stage this memory usage data we are talking about. So I put here stage because we're passing stage on this function on top here. So this once we have stage, we can put here, I put like this, and here I would say dot round, and I'm gonna pass here dollar memory usage variable that we created. And to convert into KB, what we need to do, we need to divide it by 1024. All right, and at the end of it, I'm gonna break it to new line, and I put dot, and then I start a string, and here I say KB, so it's in KB now. All right, and to break the new line, I just want to put the closing p tag, and after that I will start another p tag, which is going to tell us about the maximum memory used. So here I simply say memory peak usage, all right, and stage, which stage we're talking about. So put here like this, so that we can put here a stage variable. So here it's going to be stage, and this is going to get us the stage. And we now I'm going to put here again round, and then inside round this time it's going to be dollar memory usage peak, again 1024. It's going to be divided by, and yeah, and after stage we can put here some spacing like this. All right, so you can see it clear. I break it to new line. Okay, now it looks something like this. We need semicolon at the end. Okay, so this function is going to get us the memory usage. Okay, getting memory usage in the script. Now what do we want to do? We want to call this function whenever basically, so what I do is I copy this function, I go here and I call it one by one where. So we have first time we're getting the data. So I want to check, actually I just start from here. So I check here, stage I will pass as 1. So stage 1 here. And here if I see it is returning, so it's not going to show anything to us, so we need to echo it. So we say here echo stage 1. Then after reformatting it's going to be stage 2. Then I copy it again, I go here, getting from CSV, this is going to be 3, and at the last exporting, after once the new CSV is created, it's going to be 4, and here I put again execution time when we are printing here 5. I had 6, but I think this much is enough to make a point. Or what we can do, we can put here just after making a connection. So it's, in that case we need to change the numbers. So here it's going to be 1, here it's going to be 2, and to see the difference I just want to put here echo, and I put here a kind of divider. So I put here p tag and slash, and just put here like this, so that we can see on the page like processing time separately. Alright, so let's do it. So I go back to code here. We have 2 time files generated. I generate a new file this time. I just refresh. It creates a new file. Now we wait for processing. Once completes, how it displays us. Alright, so it completed. You can see on stage 1 it used 300 KBs. Then it's used this much KBs here. Stage 3, this is the peak usage, this is the usage of memory. Each stage it's proceeding till 6th stage, this much peak usage. I forgot to add KB there. We can add there. And total time we took is 49 seconds. So if you want to put the KB, all you need to do is simply put here afterwards KB as well. So if you put it here, next time I'm just gonna put KB there. Alright, so hope this helps. This way you can check basically you can log out the memory usage to your system, and then later on you can see which code portion is taking how much memory, and you can later on decide if you need to refactor that code or not. That can be useful. Processing time also you can check if you want to refactor the code to improve the performance of your code. Hope this helps. You can improve this code as well. I'm gonna leave the zip for this complete code for index and as well as the functions.php so that you can use it. And yeah, hope you like it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Timings.